This is TWiT.
Meanwhile, Meta has, this week, supposedly, Threads is going to get a web-based interface. That's really the big thing holding me back, right?
Yeah.
Me too.
I have the Android app running on my Chromebook because I can do that because, hey, Chrome. It's a little flaky, but it generally works. But the engagement on Threads is just nowhere. Blue Sky is so much more for me.
That's the key for me. That's the key for me.
What do you use? What do you use, Mike?
Well, to get at Threads, I use my iPad.
No. What do you use? What do you use them all? What are you still using? X?
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook. I use Substack, Notes, Blue Sky, Mastodon, T2, LinkedIn, Tumblr.
Wow. How do you? But see,
he is a creator.
You like
He's a
spend an hour each day posting to each of them. I mean, how do you?
What I do is my routine is that while I'm waiting for the coffee to kick in the morning, I go through all of them and just check, see if anybody replied or commented on something or whatever engagement. And by the time I'm done with my coffee, I close them all and I try to ignore it all day. And then during the day, I'll pretty much only post on Substack Notes, which I'm the only person in the world who uses Substack Notes. So it's just me talking to myself mostly.
Oh, it looks like a X clone, right?
Yeah, but Substack Notes is the prettiest social network.
It's Mastodon, isn't it? Isn't it Mastodon?
No,
it's not.
No. Substack Notes, no. It's that's one of the problems with it is it's proprietary.
Medium has a Mastodon. It's Medium.
Medium does, okay. yeah. And I think Tumblr is also on the Fediverse, but Substack Notes, I use it because that's where my newsletter is on Substack, and
Makes sense.
And a lot of smart people. And just like last week, I think it was, they added the ability to follow people instead of having to subscribe to their newsletter, which is, I have the default set for my newsletters that I subscribe to on Substack to come to my email. So every time there's somebody I just wanted to follow on Notes, I would have to subscribe to them and get their email into my inbox just so I can interact with them. But now they have follows. So it's a regular social network. Nobody cares. It's like not even part of the conversation about social networks, but I like it. It's pretty.
My heart is still with Mastodon, but if you're really looking for a Twitter replacement, I think Threads or Blue Sky, those are the two.
Well, like Jeff said, I mean, from the engagement front, like Jeff said, Blue Sky is more consistent. You more consistently get engagement on Blue Sky. In that sense, is more Twitter-like. I use Mastodon. I use the basic Mastodon server instance, and it's like it's either the engagement is kind of low or it's massive. Like sometimes if something like takes off on the Fediverse, it's just gigantic. I get hundreds of reshares and comments and all that kind of stuff, which is great. But it's far less consistent than Blue Sky. They're both great for engagement, and both of them are better than Twitter these days for engagement. Yeah, for sure.
So here is Mark Zuckerberg's post on Threads, actual footage of me building threads for the web, rolling out over the next few days. He looks a lot younger than I expected to be, and I didn't know he sat like that with his knees up.
He has a phone with that's
a HP 35 calculator. It's hysterical.
What's the drink, you think?
I don't know. I think he made it into a bong because there's a lighter right there. So I don't know.
What kind of laptop is that, I wonder? I can't remember.
Oh, look at that weird wrist rest. Yeah, this is obviously Mark in the early days of Facebook, and he's just taken Threads and put it on top.
It's in his college dorm room.
Yeah. It's pretty, actually, it's a great, it looks like a Harvard desk. God, they had crap.
Making hot or not or whatever that thing was.
Yeah, right. So I don't know how you get to Threads web.
If I go to threads.net, it just says download the app. I can't find a link for
threads.net/your user handle will take you to your profile, but at least right now for me, there's still no option to create a post here in the web.
Okay, I don't think it exists. The web doesn't.
That's existed for a while, Ant. Yeah,
but they're rolling it out. So I was like, well, I'll at least look here and see if they put a button there.
So I can't yet. But he said in the next few days. Of course, he also said that was him. So
it was him.
I don't know. It was him a long time ago. Blue Sky is like exactly like Twitter. right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there is the promise. Both have promised to be part of the Fediverse. Neither has lived up to that promise.
Not yet.
We'll see.
We're watching.
At least they got a web interface for Threads. Blue Sky has never promoted the web interface, but you told me about it. Staging.bsky.app. Let's use it in the web.
I got an invite. I'm going to put it in the IRC. Somebody in our IRC mentioned.
Doran wanted to invite.
I'll put that invite in here.
DM
right
him. Don't put it in public, or it'll be
because then everybody's going to use it at the same
pile.
time.
Oh, I don't know how to. Let's see. Message. Was it Doran? Yeah, it was Doran. Okay, yeah. Doran. We'll see if this works.
I would love for one of these to be the incumbent, but this shows you why it needs to be centralized. Because unless it's centralized, you don't get critical mass.
Whoops,
and if you don't get critical mass, it's not.
Well, I don't think we know that yet, Leo. I don't think we know that yet.
Good. I hope you're right. Because as I
really
said, I support the Federation.
Yeah.
But I don't mind that Mastodon is a quiet little backwater. That's fine with me. And we run our own, twit.social.
I have very good engagement on Mastodon.
So it's interesting. What do you think you said, Mike, that it's sometimes high and sometimes not. Is it based on the content or?
Yeah, based on the content. It's hard to predict what will go viral, just like anything else. But what I mean is that sometimes I post stuff and it's crickets, which is fine. And then sometimes I post stuff and it just launches into the stratosphere. And that doesn't really happen to me on Blue Sky. I get I get 1 or 2, 3, 4 or 5 comments on every post. I get a somewhat predictable number of likes. I'll get minor bumps, but when things go viral on Mastodon, they really go viral.
Yeah, Mike, I wonder if you find this. So when I read the papers in the morning, papers air quotes in the morning, and I find links I want to share, I'll hit the Twitter button because it's convenient on the Washington Post, right? Copy and paste that, put it into Blue Sky, put it into Mastodon. Yep. Once in a while, put it into Threads, but Threads doesn't always want me to copy, whatever.
Right.
Paste. What I find is that the same exact item, letter for letter, can take off on Blue Sky but not Mastodon, and then on Mastodon but not Blue Sky, or then on both. It's
that's right.
Yeah.
No rhyme to reason.
Totally unpredictable.
Yeah. I see the same thing with mine. For me, the engagement ranking is number 1, Twitter. Number 2, Instagram. Number 3 would be twit.social. Twit.social. And
is that the only way to rate one of these things, though, is how much response you get to your posts?
No, it's not. It's just one way. No, right,
it depends on who you ask, because if you're a brand, you want to see some response.
But see, that's one of the things I like about Mastodon. It's kind of not a brand thing. And so but see, this is the problem. A lot of the reason I would go to Twitter is as a read-only site to see what's going on, what people are talking about, to laugh at people and what they're saying about the Golden Globes or the Super Bowl. All of that was fun, and that was and that required a massive people. And Mastodon doesn't do that. Blue Sky and Threads could maybe. I don't know. I don't want to support Threads because it's meta. Blue Sky, at least, it's still Jack Dorsey. I'm not a fan. But at least it's kind of with a more open-ish idea. Honestly,
I think to me, I think it's the quality of the engagement, not the quantity.
Quality,
and you get high quality engagement on Mastodon pretty regularly. On Blue Sky, I've stepped on some landmines in Blue Sky where just the jackals just came after me. It's kind of.
Political talk or what?
That happens with me on Twitter if it's anything that's remotely political, even though I didn't intend on it to be, but it strikes a nerve. And that's fine.
What about the other ones? What about T2? Is that still in the?
I have the account. Haven't launched it. I just got the account.
It's the engagement there, in my experience, is not I'm not super. I don't have a ton of followers there.
This was started by former Twitter employees. So it's very Twitter-like.
Yes. There's not a lot of activity there. It's just kind of,
To your point, Leo, I don't think it's at all about quality. It's just, do you find yourself in an interesting conversation? Did someone say something interesting in return? That's how I would define engagement.
Most of my conversations would come on Twitter. Granted, I try not to pay social any attention just for my own mental health. So I go in there periodically to at least look for someone that replied, because otherwise it's just auto post stuff coming out from my computer. I generally stick stuff in this scheduler and walk away, because it's just better peace of mind instead of trying to figure out I need to post right now. I need to post right now. No, baloney.
But for those who are like looking for the engagement on their own posts, I find that it's like less than half of what it used to be from a year ago. It's just a lot of people have wandered away. A lot of journalists have been disillusioned and wandered away. So many people.
That's what I found.
Go ahead, Ed.
For me, the Instagram engagement, because I ranked that number 3, it's funny to me because most of my posts on there are I'm actually trying to post, and I'm only posting to stories. I'm not even putting, in the actual grid thing. I'm putting it to stories for people that actively follow me. So I'm like, why does that matter more? Because most of the time it's not even photographic. It's just a caption of something or something random that I saw in the house with the dogs, and but that stuff gets a decent amount of engagement, more so than my photography does there on that platform.
It really does, and people want to know about you and your life on Instagram. So interesting thing, I was off Instagram for years, and then when Threads came out, I wanted to try it, and you have to have an Instagram account.
Yeah.
So I launched a new Instagram account like last month or something like that, and so I have just a couple 300 followers or whatever it is, and I'm just posting. I'm just using it for photography. Just like here's a picture that I like, and I'm not trying to like put any other kind of content. And the engagement is pretty good, and I'm actually kind of enjoying it. And Threads is like that as well. All that I don't put the pictures on Threads, but you're right. It's like the engagement on Instagram is pretty good.
So, Mike, to your question about people leaving, this is from my numbers of the week. Nature magazine reached out to 170,000 scientists who were or still are on as Leo would like us to say, X.
Well, that's what it is.
9,200 responded, which is just a lot. So it's among the respondents, right? More than half reported they've reduced the time they spend on the platform. Just under 7% have stopped using it altogether. 46% have joined other social media platforms such as Mastodon, Blue Sky, Threads, and TikTok. So there are bits of flight going on away from X.
I think it mirrors what's happening with journalists as well. I think it's not satisfying because you want everybody to leave or nobody to leave. If nobody left and they could,
it's like a job,
each other,
right? But this job sucks. I want everybody to go.
But like lots of people left, so it's like worse, but it's still not, and everybody went to different platforms, so it's like it's been a dispersal of scientists.
That's kind of the problem. Is in COVID, we knew where to go. You all go to Twitter. Or in my case, Reddit. Reddit still, even despite the problems they've been having, still is a place people use. And that was where I was getting the best up-to-date COVID information. In fact, Jeff, you had that great Twitter list of COVID experts that you could follow.
I wonder how many of them are still on.
Yeah.
I still go to it, but I don't know.
There is no place like that now. There really isn't. I guess Reddit has survived its thing. And then now here I am on X, and look, there's a great picture of Micah and Lisa and Max and Ryan, our sales team, and Micah's helping them out at the podcast Move It in Denver. So see, there's still some good people on X. Not me. Although I should come back and say, hey, now that I'm not competing with the name, I like it. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't have to worry about Chief Twit anymore, though, right?
No, you should post that just to see what happens, because
people would fall over, right? If anybody is still there. Yeah.
Hey, I'm Rod Pyle, editor-in-chief of Ad Astra Magazine, and each week I join with my co-host to bring you This Week in Space, the latest and greatest news from the final frontier. We talk to NASA chiefs, space scientists, engineers, educators, and artists, and sometimes we just shoot the breeze over what's hot and what's not in space, books, and TV. And we do it all for you, our fellow true believers. So whether you're an armchair adventurer or waiting for your turn to grab a slot in Elon's Mars rocket, join us on This Week in Space and be part of the greatest adventure of all time.